Right.
Oh, gather round, ye mortals bold, from mist and brine and tales untold, where canvas breathes and colors flow. Welcome to painting blue. Tobias perch upon the dawn. It must be rum. For chibi charged and songs be sung. No timid brush, no timid crew. We paint like thunder splitting through. He's defender who half divine, born of ink and turpentine. Samurai heart with Irish grin. Lets the living ether in. He doesn't plan, just do, don't try. He squints one eye, charge a G, one fearless stroke. The sky turns blue, and dragons hatch from painting. Buck, 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 cock, nutnug laid a fortune egg. Open up inside, it says, trust the flow, don't overthink. Follow the ether of ink. Let spirit guide the paunch, while Boris grinds ink with teeth. Strike like a tiger, swift and true, just like Garlos would do. Step to the mic, he sets the tone with Mazzo's crisp meatball calzone. Italian gravy, grape drink too, broadcasting live. Microphone is here with you. From Japanese clan, he leads the way with honor. Sharp as katana spray through stormy doubt and ego stew. He paints the life inside of you. So raise your brush like battle axe. Let go of fear and pigment cracks. Let all arrive from cosmic dew and roar it loud. Painting down.
Greetings, my beloved Japonaita, and welcome to another glorious episode of Paintingu. Put your hands together for our very own petrified primate, Myro the magical monkey, praying us in on another glorious episode of Paintingu. As we return to this colorful hillside that I have constructed from nothing, from the ether, no sketching, no plans, just goo. Right, how are we today? How's your chi? How's it flowing? First things first, orientationu. Okay, not bad. Let's right over here a bit. I'm going to see all of the goo. All of it. Kind of missing the bottom here. Yeah. Come back a bit. over here a bit, down a bit. This camera is very sensitive. It's very accurate, very sensitive. That's a bit shit. Right. Okay. Orientation. Yeah, no, maybe, perhaps. Perhaps Ingu. Perhaps is one of the many P's of Paintingu, because perhaps it may be Shitingu. The angles are so sensitive. I like I can barely touch this fucking thing, and like it completely changes the orientation. Millimeters turn to inches. Yeah, that'll have to do. That'll have to do. I'm not arsed with it anymore. Maybe get a second opinion. Can Micah see the painting well from there? Right now, no, because he's looking at the fucking wall. Come, Micah. The people need you. The people require you. Oh, Micah coming on screen just makes me happy, man. It really does, like. Hold on a sec. Micah's orientation is equally as important, because I have to be careful I don't headbutt the shit out of him. Right, yeah, that works. You don't really get to see Nitnog unless I lean back. Hold on. I need to wait for the laptop to catch up now. Yeah, like you don't really get to see Nitnog unless I lean way back here. Which is kind of funny, I suppose. I don't know. Part of me wants to put him on like a stand behind the other two so you can see him all the time. He's fucking hilarious. Nitnog is not getting the appreciation he desires. Or he deserves. Absolutely fantastic craftsmanship by Snowy Sama. Fucking hilarious, man. It's so like it's one of the things that I've created that has like a built-in ambiguity to it. Because when I was designing it, I was like, I wanted to represent the good, the bad, and the chicken, as in cowardice, and then represent the people who got the vaccines during that time, as cowards, like, do you know what I mean? Because it was all based around like the fear of like, oh well, like you'll lose your job, or people will think ill of you, or whatever, like if you don't get the job, and so on and so forth, like. But it ended up working. It ended up also having the effect of people thinking like it was like all the hormones that they put in chicken and stuff and all to make them grow quicker and bigger and shit and all, like. So when people were like, "What are the needles about?" and I would be like, "Well, what do you think they're about?" Like, and the first thing that came to a few people's minds was the hormone injections that they put in chickens. And I was just like, "Yeah, sure," like if that's what you see, that's what you see. I fucking I can't wait to see her do the bad one, the devil version one, the black one with the red horns. Like, it looked fucking brilliant. But anyway, today's today, Thursday. Today is Thursday. I had a meeting earlier on, like the debrief after my first workshop there last Saturday, and it went well. Like, I would describe it as good. There was some negative feedback, and I completely understand why. Like, I think I let Finola take the reins like a bit too much, so some people felt like it was basically her workshop instead of mine. Plus, the seating arrangement kind of amplified that, because I was like sitting. There was like two tables put together, so you had two people here, like two people at north, two people at east, me at south, and then or west, and then I was sitting at south, and then another two people, including Finola, on the east side, so like, um even though I'm the one that's supposed to be leading the workshop, because I have to have like a mentor or whatever, which is your one Finola. um like that's why she's there, like, is to, like, teach me how to, because she's done art therapy sessions and group stuff before with the public and with the government and all, like, they couldn't just let me have at it. So there was a bit, so some people were, one, a bit disappointed, two, a bit confused, and then three, I think, some of the feedback was they felt like they were being kind of, they felt a bit uncomfortable because they felt like some of it was too psychoanalytic in terms of like asking people their feelings about what, what the symmetrical design says about them as a personality type or an artist, which is and isn't where I was trying to go with that sort of thing. Um, but like, overall, I think it went well, and we're going to have another one in April. Um, and then I think after that, the idea is to just for me to do them on my own. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I just had the meeting there, from like 2 till 3:30. Came back, got a bite to eat, and now we're doing the goo. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out over the next like months and year or two or some shit, like doing community work, doing the stream, trying to do my own stuff in between, like, which I've been doing very little of the past few months. All I really have the energy for these days is like, working out, doing the shopping for the groceries and stuff like that, and all, like, and doing community stuff, whether it be with that tarts group or the creative places crowd, and then doing the stream. And after all of that, I'm pretty tapped out, like, uh at least mentally. Although creatively, which I didn't think would happen, the last few weeks I've been like wanting to do more uh painting after I do the stream, after I do painting go. I want to do more painting go. um but like, I've to cook dinner, and then, fucking, there's all sorts of things in the evening that, like, if I did more painting, I'd be like up at all hours and stuff like that. And the way things are with the missus at the moment in terms of her works, like her her sleeping schedule and her work and stuff like that. Now, like, it's just, I still feel a little bit like I'm in limbo, but now I don't. Now I'm not really stressed. I've like settled into how all over the place things are, and I'm just like going whatever the wind and the fucking water takes me. So we'll see what happens. Um, I know we were on the painting goo vessel, but I did not know we were in rough seas. uh, why are we in rough seas? Or is that just like, me describing I'm describing my personal shit, not the stream. Fuck it. Or is it just because you can hear all the stuff at the from the window? I woke up this morning, like, I woke up earlier on, fucking, like, to the noise of rain, like, pounding off the fucking window. Like, I've had fuck all sleep the last few nights for all sorts of reasons. If I'm fucking stupidly staying up till like all hours playing Minecraft, um, with the missus and my friends, like, which I'd gotten out of that like really unhealthy habit of like staying up till like 3 in the morning playing video games with your friends, like, um, I'd gotten out of that, and I'd gotten myself into a routine of like, most of the time come to like 10 p.m. and I'm ready to go to bed, like, if not in bed already. These days I'm not getting to sleep till like 3 a.m. a lot of the time. So I'm a bit like, I'm a bit delirious and a bit all over the place. But we go nonetheless. Um, so I don't really know what, like, part of me thinks leaving the dragon's eye white and his tail white is a good idea. But I want to put something here. And I was thinking either maybe like a shepherd or a knight, defending some sheep, or just a sheep. I think it'd be funny to just put one like fat, derpy, retarded looking sheep, um, just like terrified that he's about to get, eaten by a dragon. I don't know. It's a nice little, it's a quaint, cute little, picturesque little scene that we have here. I like the composition. The dragon's like all the way down on the left, somewhere in the middle, and then you have the grass has turned out nice. There's something about hanging moss and hanging grass that I really like. Cliff's looking all right. It was looking a bit too bright. We've darkened it up now, so the dragon stands out. But yeah, I think it'd be funny to just put like a fucking really retarded looking sheep, or maybe a sheep with a sword and shield. That'd be funny. I'm getting images of a sheep, with a helmet that like covers his eyes, kind of thing. Like the helmet's too big for him, so kind of like can't see anything. Yeah, a sheep with a sword and shield would be pretty funny, and then maybe like a mammy sheep and 2 kids or something behind him, like he's the sheep has become the shepherd kind of thing. We'll see. But I wanna finalize the design on the dragon. And we've got some markings up here that like I want to either hide or incorporate into the dragon. And then some of the part, like his neck is really thick here, but then it doesn't meet up with the head. So part of me wants to make the head bigger, which would make it easier to incorporate these other parts. So the head of the dragon would probably take up nearly twice the amount of space he's taking up now. Which would still work, because I could still put it would still line up and I could still put the sheep here. But that's where we're going with this. That's how I'm feeling right now. Let's get some fucking tunes on. I think we have some new tunes, don't we? I believe I saw at least one new tune in the chat. Yeah, West Coast Gooin'. What is this though? Right, so we have one new tune. Let's check it out. While I get the bitches wet and prepare for the goo to flow. What would I do first? Yeah, I'm gonna make the dragon head bigger, and we get rid of all these markings, and it'll match up with the neck a bit more. But that's gonna take me a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna need to use a lot of white and grey to like cover this space, and it's gonna be kind of like a smaller version, similar situation to the fucking when we went from having the mech to having the hive kind of thing. Like obviously I'm not gonna cover the whole dragon, but similar situation. Anyway, some West Coast gooing. Okay.
Studio lights low in the barrio lab.
Right.
Brush is ready. Defend the beard in la mesa tonight. Low rider rhythm. Let the cool ride. La postura bien tight, and the goose start flowing in the studio tonight. Paleta looking loco like a brujo cookbook. One crazy mezcla got the whole chat hooked. Simon, let it drip. Defend the beer, female posted up in the chair, but screw lined up like soldados in the lair. Dip, dip, splash. What's colores collide? Acrylic on paper on the west side glide. Little watch, mezcla make the texture sit thick. Chat, yell, drag on, so the brush move quick. Escama shining while the wings spread wide. Now the dragon look ready for a midnight ride. Painting cool, or let it drip now. Painting cool, let it flow. Dip that brush, let the color slide through. Bury your heart style with the painting cool. Painting cool, watch it ride. Painting cool, slow and low. Let that dragon go down to a dragon debut. Young love to the mighty painting cool. Brush tips, what the lamp, let the go wild. Colors stack up like a freestyle pile. Stream chat, yelling, dale dientes de oro. Now the drag on shining, puro tesoro. Shining, Puro style, drip, drip, slide por el lado del page. Happy accidentes, break out the cage. One wing crooked, but the vibe still tight. Now the dragon left the for a sunset flight. Blend that watch like a potion in stool. Little swirl motion make the cielo turn blue. Brush go swish with a flick real slick. Clouds roll soft with a sunset mix. Hold up, my blade, right there. Orale, perfecto. Now the dragon fly high, por el cielo azul. Paint splatter stars while the vibes stay cool. Desde hoja blanca to a story untold. With steady hands and the brush dip gold. Postura firme mientras colors break through. Value magic in the painting booth. Painting booth, let it drip now. Painting booth, let it flow. Brush crew moving while the colors shine through. West Coast body or painting booth. Painting booth, or the let it ride. Painting booth. Slow and low. There's a dreamer sketch to the final view. Long live the magic of painting gold. Painting gold. Painting gold. Long live the magic of painting gold. Painting gold. Painting gold. Long live the magic of painting gold.
That was hip and hop from tip to top. Right, please excuse me whilst I descend to the proper painting posture. Right. The stool is not stiff today. Excellent. There's nothing worse than a stiff stool. Okay. How are we feeling today in terms of tunes? Techno Thursday? Is it a Techno Thursday? It's the vibe I got anyway. Techno it shall be. You put some new tunes in techno? Glorious. It was meant to be. Yeah, there's fucking 45 songs in this playlist. Excellent. Right. Oh, excuse me. Play Purple Rain by Jack Famarat. It's exceedingly specific. It's not happening. I'm going to try and stick to, like, from now on, I'm sticking to tunes that were made for Painting Goo. Because then we don't have to deal with the copyright bullshit. And I think that is actually making a difference. I think the stream is, like, reaching a few more people. Without the copyright shit. I could be wrong, but don't get me wrong, there is a part of me that wants to just not care about that and just play whatever music I feel like playing. There is that. Yeah, I think we're getting somewhere now. Kind of like flour it out almost. We'll start getting some grey in here. I don't want to get too much paint. I don't want to just keep putting paint on it, because then I'll have to wait for it to dry. So I'm gonna like put a bit on, let it dry, put a bit on. Margie Sama! How are you, Margie? You well? Kensuno handled Proto-Germanic music. I tried making a purple Hades, but wasn't liking it. Well, like, you've got really good taste in music, man. So I trust your judgment. I'm doing good, yeah. I'm doing alright, yeah. Yeah, Hai Lung are a really good example, if not the best example out there from what I've seen. Hai Lung are like just like awesome in terms of that kind of genre. Really cool, like. They sound and look the part. Okay, dokie. Tiny bit of black. Tiny bit. What is a duduk? Because that one's called the dance of the duduk. Like, is it an instrument or like, what is it? Okay. Well, we could probably go darker than that, yeah. Yeah, we could probably go darker than that. A little bit more black. think we have a better shape here. A Turkish flute. Very ancient instrument. Man, those things, like I can never remember what they are, but there's a Celtic war horn that's like really tall with like a dragon's head on it, and the fucking sound that, like, I don't know how they get that sound out of it. I don't know what kind of internal shape that the horn has or whatever, but the fucking sound they get out of it is crazy. And they used to use it as psychological warfare. They'd wait till like a fog rolled in and just be like, like fucking like mad shit. Like, it's so cool. Like, I think Heilung used it at one of their live events. The Carnix, like the fact that it's called the Carnix, like. So we've got his two main horns and then all these flares coming off. Almost like, you know, wings, kind of like that thing out of Jurassic Park with the webbing on its neck. So you get some more defined shapes in there. Place the eye. Get the mouth looking right. But like I said, I don't want to put a load of paint on it. You need to do it layer by layer. So I might even I'll follow the current alignment that we have, and I'll put the sheep there. We'll work on the sheep for a while. Some encouragement from my biggest fan. It's actually surprisingly effective. You'd think you'd need like a hairdryer or something, but like this fucking works. Obviously not as well, but better than you'd think. And it's far more stylish. Another good one is the Aztec death whistle. Do you imagine calling something that? What's that you got there? Oh, that's my death whistle. Like you whistle and death shows up like a dog. Like play. Like fuck. I think we've a really good base for the sheep right now. I can picture a hilarious looking warrior sheep here. Like, the whole concept of a sheep becoming a shepherd actually appeals to me. Like, I think it'd be like a cool moral story. Like, the sheep becomes the shepherd, like, and instead of just becoming like a shepherd with the hook, fucking the wooden hook thing, like a shepherd in the sense of like a warrior shepherd, like that'd be a hilarious cartoon. Like, just one of the sheep becomes self-aware enough to like lead the rest of them. Like, it'd be so funny. Ah, Dick Fordu Sama, welcome. Kung Fu sheep. Isn't that already a thing? Good thing you don't have a cat, or every painting would be made of cat hair. I made you a song with the death whistle, but you hated it. Try harder. Perhaps hate is too strong a word. You mildly disliked it. I mean, to go from hate to mild dislike is pretty fucking like, you hated it. Well, not really. Oh, that's hilarious. Right, so I have a habit of taking some paint from the palette section with the brush and then putting it here to try and mix it, and it ends up too watered down, and you end up contaminating the paint, right? So that's why it's important to have a palette knife, so that you can take some of the paint and then mix it here. And not only do you not contaminate, but you also prevent it from being too watered down. Because especially if your brush is very wet, like mine is. So that's just something that, like, I'm trying to get myself into the habit of doing. That, like, if you're not just watching the stream because you think I'm entertaining, but you're actually, like, doing some art. The palette knife is a must in terms of, like, mixing color on the fly and maintaining the opacity or the what would you call it, the maintaining the saturation, you know, because like even if your brush is just a little bit damp, using the brush, it's mainly for the contamination. Because, like, you know, there's bits of red in my yellow, bits of brown in my red, bits of red in my green, so on and so forth, like bits of brown in the blue. And typically you don't want that, you know. But as we all know here on Painting Ghoul, I am a messy, chaotic fuck.
All right.
So
Let's just start messing.
That's just something I had in my head there that I wanted to share with all of you. Palette knives.
I don't really know where this goes, but the colors answer. Slow and close.
Palette knives. Kitchen roll. Kitchen roll is the fucking... This shit is the handiest shit. So handy. Oh! I knew I could feel it coming. Sumimasu. Right. I need some grey. Now, obviously, this would be obvious to a lot of people, but when you're making grey, tiny bits of black. Tiny bits of black. You got Bob Ross's brand knives. Apparently the Bob Ross stuff is pretty good, but it's very expensive. I don't have any of it myself, but that's what I heard anyway. Because there's like Bob Ross oil paints and all like.
Let me zoom in so you can see every flaw, every possibility. Sometimes you ruin it to make it work. That's how art learns first.
It'd be interesting to see if you just took random episodes now again and did what you did with that one, where you just transcribe the whole stream and see what you get. I'd say there'd be like equal parts absolutely nonsensical shit ones and then like some really good ones, like, because I really like that one. I think there's like a good message to it, like, you know. It's got nice vibes. wide there. And then top jaw up there. Bottom jaw kind of needs to come out a bit more. Oh, it's like here. Yeah, that works. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a much better angle. Now the neck doesn't look too thick for the head. And now we can work. Well, I'll let that dry though. There's a lot of paint here. Well, we'll work on the sheep for the moment. I have some of his brushes too. Wouldn't be able to afford them now. Yeah, like I heard they were quite expensive, which is a bit sad, you know, because like you'd think with the way that like Bob Ross promoted art and stuff, you'd think they'd be very affordable and family friendly and all this shit, like. But the branding became kind of an elitist thing, and from what I heard, he had a problem with that. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Like, it's like you know, it's like the Jews got a hold of him and we're like, we can make so much money, Bob. You know, we'll put your face on everything, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, you know. Bit close to the edge, isn't he? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, they got his name, took it away from his family. Yeah, that's what I heard happened. All right, it's just fucking so typical, tragic. Oh. I don't really want to work on the dragon anymore just yet. I want it to completely dry and drop down, so I'm not like reactivating the paint. You know?
Training run. Simulated war. Real ghosts. Buried names claw back from the dark. Past mistakes don't stay dead. They wait. Exile planet. Broken sky. Hatred learns to breathe. One name.
Thinking like a lightning blue for the tail, maybe.
Like a curse. Wrath of Khan. Say it slow. Say it loud. Wrath of Khan. The past comes back. To burn you down. Say it loud. City Alpha. Sand and bones. Children raised on blame. Evolution twisted. Faith replaced by rage. He takes the ship. He takes the weapon, turns creation into leverage. Genesis. In my hands. God switch. On or off. Choose the end. Blood is space, steel in veins. Two minds locked in a closing cage. No sensors, no vision, just instinct. Old men, young hatred. Every move is a confession. Think, civilization hums. Door sealed shut. Logic over fear. A friend stands still. So others move forward. This is how legends end. Quiet. Certain. Path of gun. Victory costs pay in flesh. The human will outlives death. From death, life, from fire, sea. Genesis blooms, where heroes bleed. Wrath is gone. The lesson stays.
Yeah, the blue goes nice on the tail, doesn't it? Yeah. When I pictured it in my head, it was like, ooh.
In like blue shit. Sit the ground in a brown stained shirt. Gray head shining under dying satellites.
Tiny leg.
Sinking in the mud of progress. Huge gut full of doubt. Planetary metrics beside and cross near Globstein. Think there's sludge with 1,000 eyes. Scanning streets, scrolling minds. No signal back, just noise and lies. We listened hard. We waited long. Static answers. Something's wrong. Is this intelligence or just a scream? Do they think it all or only dream? Finger on the trigger, judgment in place. Too glass the place, or not too glass the place. Cities looking like a time machine. Endless talk, but nothing means. Wars for symbols, gods for sale. Empty pride in a carbon jail. Smear Globstein bubbles, thinks it through. Runs the odds and under skew. Pin leg size, looks to the sky. Still no proof they're self-aware. We came in peace. We stayed too long. intelligence or just a scream? Do they build or only consume and bleed? Finger on the trigger, judgment in place. To glass the place, or not to glass the place. Scales hang low. Mercy flickers, protocol says no. One more skin before the flame, one last chance to change the game. Hands of fate in alien space. Two glass plates. Two glass plates. Or not to glass the place.
Oh, excuse me, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of look like a feathery, furry kind of thing, like a distracting plumage on the end of its tail or something. Like I always thought it'd be cool to fucking well, not that I always thought it'd be cool, but like when I think of dragons and stuff like that, like or how am I trying to say this? What am I trying to say? Have you ever seen an anglerfish? Like the way is in Finding Nemo, the really ugly fish that's like a deep sea fish, and it holds a light bulb in, like it has what looks like a biological fishing rod, like coming out of its fucking head and holding a ball of light on the end. It's like bioluminescent light, and that like attracts. It's like a moth to a flame. It attracts other small fish, and that's how like it lures its prey to it, right? A lot of creatures work like that, like snakes, spiders, so on and so forth. I always thought it'd be cool to have like a dragon that was like that kind of deceptive predator, because like typically dragons is like everyone knows where the dragon is. It's in the cave at the top of the mountain, and like when the dragon shows up, there's no second guessing, there's no wonder, there's no suspense really, because it's like the dragon is here, it's burning everything, it's eating everything. It's just like terror, chaos. It's very loud, chaotic, upfront, blunt, no fucking around, so on and so forth. But if you had something that was more deceptive and like lying in wait and tricksterish or cunning or some shit like that, but was still like the epic supernatural size of something like a dragon. So if you just saw this like beautiful plumage hanging from some kind of thing, and you're like, "Ooh, what the fuck is that?" Or if an animal saw it or something, like, you know, and it's just this like dangling blue feathery thing, you know, and a child was like thought it was like some kind of bird or butterfly, was trying to like run after it and catch it or something, and then you realize that at the other end of it is this fucking thing. You know, like, it'd be fucking terrifying. Like, yes, it is indeed time for today's phrase of the day. With the help of my feathery friend Tobias Beakus Kroos, we shall ring the tiny donga and announce today's phrase of the day. I I need to have the tunes set up and ready to go, because they're not. Part of the charm of painting goo is being horribly disorganized.
With a ding of my tiny donga, with a mighty songa, I send cleansing vibrations through the interwebs to cleanse you filthy mortals of your dirty, filthy cheek, and allow it to flow freely as I announce today's phrase of the day. You with a ding of mine.
It immediately goes into the other one. Right, today's phrase of the day is as follows. If you find yourself addicted to seaweed, seek help. Seek help. I bet you had a good chuckle to yourself when you wrote that today, didn't you? Like, if you find yourself addicted to seaweed, seek help. I fucking like. That's one of those ones that's so bad it's kind of good. Like, oh fucking hell! What's the difference between kelp and what's the difference between sea kelp and seaweed? Surely they're a part of the same family or some shit. I don't know. Probably wrong. Right, today's bonus Polak joke. Did you hear about the Polak who robbed a bank? He was arrested shortly after trying to deposit the money at the same bank. Isn't there people that have done that? Surely someone's retarded enough to have done that. And I really don't think it's racist of me to guess that it was some black dude. I could see a load of ghetto blacks going in, robbing a bank, masks, Glocks, like bags of money. I could see a black guy or a few like black teenagers robbing a bank with masks and shit, and then coming back like a few days later, trying to deposit that money into the bank. I could just totally see that happening. And no, it doesn't make me racist. It makes my pattern recognition like at least workable. I have a functioning pattern recognition. That's so racist. No, it's not. It's realist. What's this? MPSSEFAOBC. Oh, what was that again? I can't remember what that was about. That was only a few days ago, wasn't it? Right, I'll play the two of these. We have two new tunas. The fact that tune is like everybody knows why I say tuna. Because like if you're speaking Japu, it's like you replace all the L's with R's, put an U on the end of everything, and then if you want a bit of extra flair, you pronounce the E's at the ends of certain words, and at the end of certain words. That's why I say message, instead of message, or like tuna instead of tune, which sounds like tuna, which is a fish, which is very commonly eaten in Japan. like the kind of syncs that you get with the wordplay when you're speaking Japu is, quite frankly, has been like incredible over the last couple of years. Like the fact that stool, like, I suppose that's not a Japu speak thing. That's just a wordplay thing. It's nothing like a smooth stool. Like. Oh man. Anyway, right. Back to the tunes. I mean tunas. Hold on a minute.
Silence real in the bios.
Hold on a sec. recommend it. You spend more time finding that reference than making it. Thinking about seaweed, I was in the ocean after a storm. I was going to take a shower, and when I took off my bathing suit, I had a bathing wig seaweed. Oh, bathing suit of seaweed. You were just covered in seaweed. That's one of those things that's always really kind of disturbed me is when you see it in the movies where somebody goes into a body of water, typically in a jungle or some shit like that, and then they come back out of it and they have leeches all over their body. That's the type of thing that would make me go like, oh God, like I want to get rid of them all. Like it's a horrible thing. Like, oh, what's that in? That's in a few movies. Welcome to the Jungle with what's that fucker's name again? It was in American Pie, and he played Mac's cousin in Stifler. What's Stifler's real name? He was like that movie that he's in, Welcome to the Jungle with The Rock, is a really good movie, and they have that parasite that swims up your fucking your penis hole, what's it called, urethra, like a fucking tiny parasite that swims its way up your shaft, like it's such a horrifying notion, like. It's just like, oh yeah, like, was it? It's got backward facing barbs on it or something. So like Kangaroo, is that what it's called? Kangaroo or some shit. Like it fucking swims its way up there and like locks itself in place. So they have to cut it out. Like I don't know if the rumor is that they have to cut your junk off to get it out. Or if the surgery just entails like cutting your junk open to get it out. So, you know, there's lots of complications that could go wrong and so on and so forth. Like, but like either way, it's terrifying. You know, like the idea that you could just be like swimming in a pond or something. You see, that's why I have a very healthy respect for like the ocean and like, you know, bodies of water and shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if I have a few like rules or something like it's like if I can't see the bottom, no, I'm not getting in. You know what I mean? Like unless it's like the sea, because obviously you can't see the bottom. But even then, it's like I'm not going out. You know, I'm staying at the beach. Do you know what I mean? And even then, I probably won't go. Like I'll go as far as like my shoulders or some shit like that. Like, because like if you want to have some relation to the ground. Because you're so not in your, you are at such a disadvantage if you can't plant your feet. You know, if anything gets a hold of you in the water and you're just like free, you're just like treading water, you're fucked. You're totally fucked. Like, okay, guys, stay out of those waters. Yeah, like tell me about it. Like, you know, it's one of those things where like once you know what's in there, it's like fuck that. Like this idea that we could just like there's never been a time where humans could just freely roam and like lay about the place. Like some people go on as if the realm is Eden. You know, like these fucking white bitches, these white college bitches that go to Afghanistan to spread love and unity and they end up getting gang raped and their head cut off. It's the same exact thought process where like you have these other fucking stupid Instagram bitches who think it's a good idea to take a selfie beside a buffalo or a fucking, what was it, a bison or some shit like that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you see it in the comment sections, like all the people are just like, your sense of self-preservation is like zero. Like, do you know what I mean? These people are indoor cats, you know? And like, I'm an indoor cat, but I'm not a retarded one. You know, like, you know, like I've been outside. I know what outside is like, you know. But these people who are just indoor cats, who have like absolutely no sense of self-preservation or survival skills and shit, like, they make me laugh. You know, it's like I'm all up for having fun. You know what I mean? I love having fun. I'm not like afraid to be adventurous and shit. But there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, like, courage and foolishness. I know sometimes the two can like overlap, where there are there's always exceptions to the rule. There are times where doing something seemingly foolish can turn out for the better, you know. Um, but like typically, you want to not do stupid shit in an attempt to. Like that's usually where things go wrong. If you're doing something to appear brave and courageous, you're probably gonna fuck yourself up, and you might fuck other people up as well. But if you're gonna do something that is brave and courageous, typically, the intrinsically that's not going to go bad, you know. Unless, of course, the brave and courageous thing is some kind of self-sacrifice. Obviously, it's gonna go bad then for you. But that's kind of the point. The point is, like if you're gonna hold them off on the bridge while the women and children get away, like the intrinsic point of you doing that is that you're not gonna make it out alive. So in that sense, it's like, well, that's kind of a stupid thing to do. Aren't you gonna die? It's like, yes, you're going to die. The point is to die the point isn't to die. The point is to last as long as you can, to give them as much time as possible to get away. That's what I think is so fucking stupid about modern society is most people have no ability to like have a nuanced perception of the world. Like everything's either left or right, black or white, up or down. Are you good or evil? And if you support this country, you're evil. It's like it is like an infantilized mind. It's a child's perception of reality. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I do this, I'll get in trouble. Like, it's fucking retarded. It really is just so fucking retarded that people can't have like a discerning mind, based on a multitude of factors. It's like, you ask this like hypothetical question, and immediately a load of people will be like, well, obviously this. Whereas like people like us will sit there and go, well, hang on a minute. Well, like, what are the criteria? What are the... Like, we did this before, but like a lot of people did this with the whole gorilla and 100 men thing, Look, the gorilla's going to kill all the men. Really? Do you know, like, and I remember fucking Sargon of Akkad saying that he could probably do it with 50. Like, didn't I say like you could probably do it with like 6 or 10 if you had dudes who were like really like, you do this and then you do this, and like one of us just has to like keep the thing distracted. Like, you might die. You could probably do it with under 10 dudes. Like, there's other people out here who are like, no, one gorilla would kill all of us. Like, it's like, that's the mentality of like what Owen was talking about when the Persians and shit, or the Mongols, where you had one woman who could walk up to like 10 males. I'm not going to call them men, but like you could walk up to 10 males who are like poets and artists, and just these artsy faggots who have no experience of fighting. They're very like just underwhelming physically, like, and they don't even have the mentality of like, not even remotely have like a warrior mentality. Like, so a female Mongol is able to just line them up and fucking kill them all one by one, so like that's the mentality that those people have. What, like, because it was men and women saying it, like, oh, the gorilla would just like slaughter everybody. It's like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, I mean, like, even when you look at basic I say recent, like the whole theories of hunter gatherers and all this fucking shit. It's like 6 dudes could take out a fucking woolly mammoth. Oh, but they had spears and stuff. Really, nigga? Like, shit, like, the mammoth's got tusks. Like, oh, it's stupid. Like, Yeah, but we're talking about just 100 naked men trying to take on a gorilla. Yeah, like I'm telling you now, like you could conceivably you could do it with less than 10 men, you know? Granted, those 10 men would have to be, trained warrior types, but like you wouldn't have to look fucking far to find 10. Like you could take like 10. You'd probably have a mix of, if you had 5 like sub-Saharan, like African, like Nigerian lads. If you had 5 like guys who were the size of Francis Ngannou, and then if you had 5 guys who were like the size of like the techno Viking nigga, like, do you know what I mean? You want big, huge white guys and big, huge black guys, because the big, huge black guys are going to have physical and nerve-ending advantages that the white guys don't have, and the white guys are going to have cerebral and and physical advantages that the black guys don't have. Black guys are typically longer, but not as muscular. Obviously they look shredded, but they're typically not as thick, but they're longer. And typically they're not as intelligent. They're more like impulse control. They're more like flowy. Whereas you have like the big white guys are typically smarter, more strategic, thicker, but not as long or as tall. You had like 5 of the whites and 5 of the blacks, and you had a good plan. That gorilla's fucked. Like, like, and then the whole concept of like, the amount of hunting modalities that are based on just like tagging something and then walking after it, because human beings can walk for incredible distances, because that's why we're built that way. So something sprints away from the danger and tires itself out, and you just stroll after it, like tracking it and shit. Like, you could, I think Sargon mentioned this as well. It's like you could have the 10 guys just like get the thing really excited, not in a gay way. get the thing really like get its adrenaline going so it thinks it's in fight or flight, and then get it to swing and miss for like 15 minutes. And the thing will be exhausted, and then you just fucking dogpile the thing and fucking choke the shit out of it. Like, everybody take a limb, and just like one dude is just like on the neck, Yeah, there was a Lotus Eaters bit about that the other day. No self-preservation skills. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Survival. That's for poor people. Now look at my selfie that results in my demise. That's hilarious. Survival. That's for poor people. Oh, that's so funny. I can't believe how stupid people are, but maybe they weren't taught. Well, you see, it's both. Like, Jimmy, it's like, it's exactly like that meme that Owen brought up. It's like, on the one hand, it's all collectively it's our own doing, like the collective sin of like, laziness and like wrath and lust and all this stuff. Like, we're all paying the price for like all of our collective sins. That's a very meta view. A more like on the ground kind of material view, which there is a lot of truth to, is that like there's a subcategory of humanity that for a long time now has mastered the art of parasitically subjugating the rest of humanity, like, or just other human beings, and like essentially farming them for resources. So instead of, and when you think about it like that is that is a genius way to do things. That is an incredibly intelligent thing to do, is to come to the realization like, well, we farm cattle and sheep and like fucking everything under the sun. Like, I mean, we can farm snakes for anti-venom, like, do you know what I mean? And like silkworms for silk and all of these things, like, so you get a group of humans who observe humanity from a third person perspective as much as they can. And they're like, well, what if we could farm humans, you know. And that's how you end up in a situation where the whole Robert Maxwell thing, where like, you know, the school system and all this is like, it is a system designed to create a human being that is very malleable and like easily manipulated, and in a like stupid and retarded in a sense, but mainly just ignorant, you know. Like that, from my experience, that's what it is. It's like, yeah, sure, the fluoride, the schools, like all that shit, like, but a lot of life is just so instinctual and intuitive. Like it's incredibly difficult to get that out of like all the humans. Do you know what I mean? You can get it out of a lot of humans, which is why we're in like for a big factor why we're in the mess that we're in. Because yes, the reality is, to a degree, like one of the truisms about life these days is that there are a group of people out there who feed off of humanity. Now, whether they're actually human is kind of up for debate. I don't really know. Like, do you know what I mean? But that is a reality. There's a subcategory of humanity that has put itself outside of humanity and now sees itself, or has done for a long time, different and other than the rest of humanity, and therefore have the requisite psychopathy and apathy to look at humanity as cattle or sheep or an asset or like some kind of like stock and bond. And it's in the wording, it's in all the wording and shit. Like, so like that is true. I know it's like a fucking insane, horrifying thing, but so is being eaten by a tiger in the dead of night in a jungle. Do you know, like, I think that's why people have such a hard time grasping that reality, is because they've grown up in cities. So they no longer have the natural real life danger of like a wolf, a bear, a tiger, a snake, a spider, like all of these things that can absolutely kill you in moments, you know, and that's just you gone then, right? You don't have that now. So now you have other predators. Now you have a different kind of predator. Now in your day-to-day, a predator, like in a city life, would be another human, someone trying to rob you, someone trying to like typically if you're a female, someone trying to rape you, depending on your lifestyle choices, you could be like, you know, a criminally involved. So predators are not only cops but other criminals, you know. So you still have predators, but beyond that, you have these groups, these corporations, these families. It is essentially just like groups of people who are willing to behave like that. They have gotten to the stage where they predate on other human beings on a mass scale, on a meta level. But the thing that has allowed them to do that in the first place is us being lazy, being wrathful, being lustful, being gluttonous. Do you know what I mean? Like it really is an ingenious move, in a sense, to take all of the negative aspects of the human consciousness and fuel them in various ways to then reap the benefits of a load of people living in sin, you know. And that's where the paradox is. It's like, would we be here if it wasn't for them, in quotes? Well, they are us, as far as we can tell. See, that's where I start to like really debate this shit, because I'm like, are they human though? Because they sure don't act human, you know. But is that just the natural result of a human being behaving inhuman? Is they because of their behavior, because of their state of mind, they may as well not be human. They are literally still human, but figuratively they're not, which is why we kind of like struggle with the like, are they lizard people? You know, is it parasites, so on and so forth. But that's also why like I genuinely think it could just be parasites. Like, genuinely think that it could just be a load of people who are essentially not people anymore, because they're not, they may be on paper, as far as science is concerned, a human being, but something else is in control, you know. And that just, to me, that makes so much sense, because you have all the bee symbolism, have all the hive symbolism, all the swarm symbolism. Like, if you look at cities, if you look at the behavior of these types, they act like a swarm or a hive or some kind of colony, or like, you know, like they behave as if they have a hive mind, in a sense. Which, like, that makes a lot of sense to me, you know, that they would actually be under the control of, you know. Then you have the whole like people showing up with the weird eye thing, you know, like happened to Biden, happened to one of the fucking members of the EU or some shit like that. You have the Queen of England, like, you know, like they have a bloodshot eye at like after certain meetings or at certain timelines and stuff like that, like. And it'd just make a lot of sense to me if you had a cult that had been around for hundreds or maybe thousands of years, and their thing is to sacrifice their humanity and their individualism to a god that is represented in various, you know, iconic ways. But the material reality of it is that they allow this parasite to like worm its way into their brain through their eye or whatever. Like, you know, you could like, it'd make a lot of sense. Do you know what I mean? There's like, the eye is like one of the eye and the nose and the mouth are like a really quick way to get like the bloodstream, the blood vessels, like, you know, fucking, if you're doing drugs or stuff like that, like you either like sniff it, smoke it, eat it. I know I've seen drugs where they like, you know, you get eyedroppers and you like put it on your eyes and stuff like that. Like that goes like straight to your brain, straight to your main nervous system. So like that would make sense that the quickest route for this thing to get into your system and take you over. And it just make, I could see that happening, like, you know, you just have this like membership club essentially, whereas like convincing people that to be more than human, you need to let this thing in, and then when you let this thing in, you won't just be you, but you'll be one of us, you know, one of us. Want to be a member? Like, what's a member? Like this is a member of me. You know, like my pinky is a member. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like member is something that's that can be, member can be used to describe your cock, your phallus, your penis. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like your member. Like it is like a part of a greater whole, you know? And it would make a fuckload of sense to me that they have these like alluring rituals and traditions and ways of speaking and like groupthink and shit to get people to come in to think that, like, you know, oh, I'm going to be like, you know, one of the group. I'm going to have access to resources and power and fame and money and like all these things and all. And once you get in, your individuality's gone, because it's a lie, because it's not a group of humans trying to grow their numbers because they believe in something. It's actually a parasite that has one goal and one goal only, which is to propagate. And we see that in nature. So like, I don't like that. To me is one of the most understandable, easily comprehensible, you know, no woo-woo bullshit conspiracy theories that I've ever heard of. Is like like, and it's not like it's my theory. It's like an amalgamation of things I've heard, like, gay men having like way more parasites in their body than straight men, you know, and like that sort of reality, or those sorts of like, inarguable facts that come from just observing nature and observing, humanity and shit. You, I get the sense that it's probably it's probably a parasite. It's probably an like, and I know people would hear me like and have heard me say this, and it's like, in a sense that kind of offloads the responsibility, because then it's like, oh well, we just need to get rid of the parasite then, and everything will be fine. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's literally not what I'm saying at all. Even if we did get rid of all the parasites, how would you know that you got rid of all of them? Where did they come from? How did they grow? There'll always be a group of people who like hid some eggs away and shit and want it to happen again. And in a sense, I think it's like both material, figurative, and meta at the same time, where it's like, I think my parasite theory could be true and it still be a thing of our sins. Because the type of person to allow themselves to be put in that position would probably have to be engaging in one of, if not more than one of the 7 deadly sins. Like, what is a person like that seeking? So like, but anyway, that's a fucking rant and a half.
Grifu-sama.
In a world of pussified cowards, be the berserker on the bridge. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? I agree with Owen with the whole, like, I'd rather live for something than die for something. But if you've got to die for something beautiful like that, where like defending others, or like defending the truth or something, like, I mean, I suppose that's where like I'll die on that hill. Like, that's where that comes from, isn't it? It's like, like, it's like the thing that Captain Picard says about the Borg and all. It's like, we have to draw the line somewhere, and if like, it's a bit naive, in my opinion. I think it's a bit naive, to think that you could just be a good boy and everything will be okay. Like, yeah, be a good boy and everything will be okay to a point, I don't think that like in the sense of like the way Owen makes the point where the reason why nobody like killed him is because he's not competing with the system. Completely agree. If you're not actively competing with them, they don't care. They have bigger fish to fry. But there comes a point where you, like, if they are like essentially in a sense the manifestation of evil, then does good not have to contend with evil at a certain point? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe living good, true, and beautiful is the way in which we compete, which I completely understand. Is just like, lock your own fucking energy radius down, and you will simply be a node for the good, true, and beautiful, and then other nodes of good, true, and beautiful can connect to you, and that is what competes with evil. I completely understand that. But here in the material realm, like, they say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. But it's like, because other people exist, that have differing opinions, everything always eventually gets to a point where something physical has to happen, and something physical and violent typically has to happen. I think that is intrinsically part of the cycle. The nature is like, you're gonna have a load of death, whether it be war or something else, like a cataclysm or some shit like that. Like, but anyway, Jumin device. I know, like, there's so many of us that I just love to be like, it's the Jews. It's not though. Like, it's kind of like, it'd be kind of like, if you look at it in this, like in the sense of like Lord of the Rings or Star Trek, it's not the orcs, it's not the Uruk-hai, it's not the Borg, it's not the Dominion. It's evil, and you can't kill evil. Why would you want to kill evil? If there was no evil, then there's no good. And that kind of is when you get to those those big meta philosophical things of like, so killing your enemy is pointless. It's like, in a sense, yes. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, I don't really have any. Like, look what the British are experiencing right now. The British are like, no, we're British, and like, the England should be for the English. We are English, and like, English is a thing, and they're defending their right to be English and to inhabit England, right? But like, historically speaking, they took over the world, So like, karma much, like, but that doesn't mean that I agree with what is happening. Like, I don't think the current English generation, I don't believe in the sins of the father. Well, that's not true. I believe the sins of the father exist, but I don't believe that it is a true thing that those who come after should have to deal with the sins of the father, in a sense. But in another sense, we don't have a choice. Do you know what I mean? Because I've experienced that in my own life. It's like, I shouldn't have to, morally or ethically or like right and wrong sense, I shouldn't have to deal with my father's mistakes. But I do. Whether I like it or not. Like, I have to deal with the fact that I do have a sense of arrested development. I have to deal with the fact that, like, my father doesn't really, like, want to be in my life or speak to me or any of these things. Like, I have to deal with the type of personality and memories and traumas that I, like, whether it be my father's fault or not, whether he intended to, like, fuck me up in those various ways or not, like, whether I like it or not, I have to deal with the sins of my father, So, like, as a father, one of your main goals should be to pass on as little sin as possible to your sons and daughters. But realistically speaking, there's going to be, like, you're not perfect. No one is. So there's going to be some sin that you pass down, whether you like it or not, So if I was to, like, give British people, or if I was to give the English advice right now, it would be like very similar to what Owen preaches, where it's like, grow your own food, have big families, and like, go back to traditions and stuff like that. Like, the best thing English people can do right now is be as English as they possibly can, even if that means starting an empire again. I swear to God, I mean, like, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of that. Like, considering how fucked up the realm is right now, I'd root, as an Irish person, I would root for English people being like, right, we're going conquering again, and we're starting with the sand people. I'd be like, about fucking time. So, I think if they wanted to come here, they could fuck off. But like, that's why it's important to have a nuanced view of things. Like, it's like there is a reason why their island is covered in Pakistani and Afghani and Indian people. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason that's a thing. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, like, you can fucking debate about that till the cows come home, And that's kind of why I don't really listen to Lotus Eaters anymore. Like, I watch clips now and again because I like Sargon, Carl Benjamin, whatever you want to call him. They're based. They're very based men. They're very astute, educated, based men, but they're also kind of bitches. Like they are also kind of cowards in a sense. Like, you know, I wouldn't call them cowards, but in a sense they're kind of being cowardly because all they do is bitch. You know, like their podcast literally is, the purpose of it is to do what Owen took the piss out of people 4 years ago. Look how fucked everything is. Have you seen this crazy left bullshit? Have you seen this? It's like, we know there's demons everywhere. We know the world is like going to hell in a handbasket. Do something about it. Like, I would argue that my stream is more productive than Lotus Eaters, in a sense. Obviously, they do magazines and they try to be more of, you know, a source of true information and moralizing and stuff like that than the mainstream media. I get it. But, like, because of how they do, like, you know, they're like, you don't see me starting up Painting Goo and being like, oh, the state of the world and all. I bitch about things on a personal level. And then I go, right, so what are we going to do about it? Well, I'm going to do this. You know, and I've been doing this for years, and it's helped me, and it's helped people around me. And sure, it's made me, like, a bit of money. But, like, I thought the whole point of, like, the Good, True, and Beautiful was to, like, you know, not be concerned about money. You know? It's like the actually walking the walk versus talking and then not the, you know, like, oh, he's all talk, he doesn't walk the walk. Like, I try to walk the walk and it's fucking hard, man. It's stressful. It's exhausting, but it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? Like, the first thing that popped in my head there is like, I don't have to fucking remember anything anymore. Like, you know what I mean? I remember when I was like 14-ish, and I would still lie about stuff for, like, to make people like me, to, like, get girls to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you would, like, lie about things now. Like, I remember, like, I think I've said this before. I had this lie that I used to tell on the regular, Australia, at one of their gigs. Total horse shit. But it was because every time I met another fan of Slipknot, they said that they have been to a gig. And I'd never been to a gig. So I just had this massive sense of, like, oh, people probably think that I'm just, like, you know, I'm not a hardcore fan. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, and it's like, it's one of those things where, like, I'm not a hardcore fan about anything. I'm not a hardcore bear. I'm not, well, in a sense I am, because I've stuck around this long. But, like, the ones who speak the most, the ones who claim the most, the ones who peacock that they are the biggest fan, they are this, they are that. Typically, they're full of shit, you know. And, like, that's always the thing that I've hated the most, is people who are full. I didn't want to be full of shit. I lied because, like, other people lied and, like, it worked for them. I, like, from a very young age, I was like, okay, so everybody lies, but they lie like for differing reasons and so on and so forth. Like, and then on the other hand, I had my father, like, not speaking to me for 2 weeks straight when I'm a child because I lied about something. So I had this incredible, you know, paradoxical thought process behind deception and lying in your everyday existence from a very young age, where I was like, okay, so lying is really bad, but everybody does it. So it was very, like, it took me a while to, like, you know, get to the point where I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to be straight all the fucking time, no matter what. And even that gets you fucked up sometimes. Like, Owen's right. Like, you want to be honest, but if you're completely honest, you'll fuck up your relationships. You'll fuck up your, like, if your main relationship, if you have a woman in your life or a man in your life, or you're married or whatever like that, like family stuff, friends. You can only be honest to a point, because then if you're honest about stuff that's nothing to do with you, or if you're honest about stuff that other people will take advantage of, you actually do yourself and others that you love and care about a disservice. So like, again, it's one of those reasons why I love the yin and yang thing, because it's like, yes, good, but also bad. Yes, bad, but also good. Like, you know, it's like, and I know I could completely understand why people get frustrated and annoyed at that, because part of me does, because there's no ultimacy, there's no like final verdict of like this good, this bad, you know, because it's so like meta in a sense, you know. But I genuinely think that that's like it's fucking made me a lot happier, you know, in my personal life, of like looking at life as just like, you can have your opinions, you can have your wants and desires and your fucking beliefs and all of these things, but what is, and everyone has to deal with that, at least while we're here, you know. Don't get me wrong, the whole manifestation thing and like, you know, meta placebo effect, that like, you know, I completely agree with. I think you have enough people believing in something and it's going to become a thing. I completely believe that. But at the same time, in a given moment, in the now, you always have something that is, and you must deal with that. Now, how you deal with it is up to you, obviously. Fuck, that was a ramble and a half. I bet there's a farm of these parasites in Antarctica. Yeah, you know, like I spoke about that before, where I think there's like, you know, just like the symbolism in a lot of movies that people talk about, like 9/11, the Two Towers, and like MK Ultra, and all of this symbolism and subliminal messaging and all of, like, you know, allegory and all of this stuff. I think that there is something in the cold areas in the Arctic and Arctic and Antarctic regions of the realm. I think there's a lot of stuff in those places that they don't talk about, and lots of secrecy. Very similar to the moon. Like, Owen makes a great point with the whole moon thing. It's like, if the moon thing was real, we'd at least have a Starbucks or a McDonald's, or like a fucking something would be on the moon, you know, and they'd brag about it. Like, because it makes no sense that the Russians and the fucking Americans and the Chinese were competing to go to the moon, but there's nothing on the moon. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, we definitely have the tech to go back. We definitely have the resources to go back. And we definitely have a motive to go back. But no one goes back. Oh no, we're going to go to Mars instead, which is, relatively speaking, way fucking further. And, like, costs way more resources and way more planning. And, like, if any of the shit that they say is true, where at any moment in time, something the size of a grain of sand could be accelerated to thousands of miles an hour and cut through your spaceship like a fucking hot knife through butter, like, it makes no sense. Like, it's all just like fucking sci-fi. Like, do you know what I mean? Which is why it's so cool. Which is why so many people have a problem. It's the same thing with the dinosaurs. Don't take dinosaurs away from me. I love Jurassic Park. Oh my God, like, the whole NASA shit is so funny though, because it's like, don't take Star Trek and Star Wars away from me. You mean science fiction? Yeah! It's like, doesn't that tell you like exactly what you need to know? But anyway. Oh yeah, I've spoken about that fucking, what was I saying? It was like some kind of amorphous, some kind of enemy that takes many forms from the cold region is what you see in The Thing and in Alien and in there's another movie that was big in as well. But there's I really my pattern recognition and the way I've seen symbolism work in my life and all, like I would put good money on there being a parasite that only, you know, the top people are aware of, and it being something similar to the stuff out of Stargate SG-1 with the Goa'uld and the symbiote, the serpents that they have in their guts, mixed with the whole kind of thing of like changelings and stuff like that, like, and body snatchers and all, like, where it's like, I think it's totally conceivable in reality, because a lot of the conspiracy theories about this kind of stuff are like way out there, like, do you know what I mean, where it's like the Nephilim and biblical shit and fucking alien technology and all this stuff. Like, I genuinely think it's way more grounded in reality to conceive of, as people were exploring the realm, and just like Christopher Columbus essentially got to certain places, and then there was lots of disease and unknown parasites and pathogens and a lot of, you know, biology mixing and stuff like that and all, like, and from that came a lot of death and lore and gossip and rumor and stuff. I think there's no reason to assume that you didn't get the same when you went to cold regions. And then you think about the whole polar bear thing, where it's like, okay, so if the polar bear is the biggest, baddest bear, and it's in the coldest, most inhospitable place, and then you go to the jungle regions or the forest regions, and you have a bear, but it's smaller, and its behavior is different. You know, polar bears are like weirdly, like, I've heard that a lot when people talk about how weird it is when a polar bear attacks, like, because they'll come right up to you like a puppy and just be all cute and cuddly and shit and be like, oh, hey, and get real close to you and then just start eating you. There isn't this big bravado of like roaring and stomping and claiming territory and all this shit. Because as far as the polar bear is concerned, everything is his territory. Because they wander so much looking for resources and shit and all, like, you know, and they have this demeanor of just getting really close to you and then just eating you, which is like kind of terrifying. So if you have that in a really cold region, then it makes sense to me anyway that just like you would have the bear in the forest or the jungle and then the bear in the cold region and the differences between the two, well, what if you had a parasite in the forest or jungle versus a parasite in a cold region? Because again, I've spoken about this before, so some of you are probably like, we've heard this shit, but like, I find it fascinating, you know, like to think of it in this way, because that would answer a lot of questions. It's like, what if you had a parasite that was way more fucking sophisticated on a genetic, biological level, because it has to be to survive the cold, just like the polar bear, just like the fucking leopard seal. You know, like, the seals in warmer places are like puppies. You know, they're really friendly. They'll come up to you, they'll scratch you and stuff, but they won't just like start fucking you up and eating you. And that's why we have that relationship with that particular kind of sea lion and those seals. It's like, oh, they're playful and and they're funny and all the circus imagery and all that shit. But a leopard seal is like way bigger and has completely different teeth and is like vicious as fuck and will fuck you up 100 times out of 100, right? So like, and the only difference really is the fact that one's in a warm region and one's in a cold region. And it makes total sense, because it's like one has way more higher abundance in nutrients and calories and way easier to get a hold of nutrients and calories. And then the other one, it's like way harder and way more of a vast expanse of like fucking nothing, and you really have to try hard to find your food. Even if when you get your food, there's plenty of it, you know, because that's how a polar bear survives. Is like, sure, it won't eat for a long time because of the hazardous environment and the difficulty of acquiring calories. But once it acquires the calories, typically it's like a whole fucking seal or a whole walrus or some shit like that, like, or another polar bear. And then you just apply that to parasites, and it makes so much sense. Makes so much sense. Like, you know what I mean? You have all these parasites in a jungle, in a forest, that can make an ant do this, a snail do this, a bird do this, and even Joe Rogan's talking about the parasites in cats, the toxoplasmosis or whatever, like, you know, this parasite that lives in cats that can be transferred to mice and humans and all this shit. And when it's in rats and it's in mice, it convinces the rodent that cat urine is like amazing. So that puts it in danger because it'll go to where cats are, and cats, you know, predate on rats and all this stuff. Like, so imagine a more sophisticated parasite that needed way more sophisticated ways of propagating and surviving because it exists in a cold environment, like, you know. And there's all sorts of stories about fucking pyramids and lost civilizations and lost all this shit because it's covered in fucking a mile of snow and ice, and because of the poles shifting and all this crap. So it's completely conceivable that a group of people came across something in a cold region that was buried from a long time ago, and they opened it up, or they came in contact with something that took them over, like a parasite would in a jungle. Like, you know, even if it's just like they opened a fucking door and some dust came out or some shit, and they were like, oh, that smells. For all you know, that's all it took, and one of them started to act a bit strange. You know what I mean? Like, and The Thing, the movie The Thing takes place in Antarctica or in the South Pole. I can't remember. It might have been, what's the other one called? Antarctic, and then was it the South Pole and the North Pole? So I can't remember, like Alaska or something. I don't fucking know. The point being is that the symbolism is there, as you have a creature, a formidable shape-shifting creature that comes from the ice or is found in the ice. And when it comes in contact with not just humans, but other organisms, it does various things. Like The Thing and the Xenobite, or whatever the fuck they're called, the Xenos, the alien out of the Alien saga, the Alien series, the movies and all, like, it's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. Like, once it gets a hold of something, it becomes the thing or a form of it. Like, every time the alien gestates with one of the face hugger things, if it gets on a dog, that changes the way the alien looks and behaves. If it gets on a human, that changes the way the alien looks and behaves. If it gets on a this or that, so, like, depending on the organism it interacts with, it changes. That's the exact same thing as The Thing. Depending on the organism it interacts with, straight up becomes a mimic version of the thing. You know, so like, it's just, not only is it way more conceivable, but it's also, because it's way more conceivable, it's fucking terrifying to imagine that that's actually what's going on. Because it would be less terrifying to figure out, like, oh, it's aliens. Oh, it's like biblical demons from thousands of years ago. Like, no, it would be way more fucking realistically terrifying to conceive of the Thing or Body Snatchers, where, like, you have human beings who are not human, and they're just among us. And then you have that video game, Among Us. Like, there is so much, in the same way that you see all of this symbolism around Freemasons and all this fucking shit. It's the same fucking thing for what I'm talking about. You have all of these kind of like subtle little hints that the reason why the world is the way it is because this is the thing, you know? And it's fucking fascinating, like, as you can tell, because I could sit here and talk about it for fucking hours, like, really easily. The English will have to get another king before they try going empire, because King Chucky is yucky. Totally agree. Just hard to find even their level of base news. They do whine a lot, though. Yeah, and that's why I still like them. You know, I still like the Lotus Eaters and all. Like, I still have a lot of respect for Carl and what he's done. But yeah, they just a lot of bitching and moaning, you know. Um, I don't think of it as lying as much as withholding pain from them. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, because like we spoke about a few weeks ago with my whole kind of like dilemma, my like philosophical strife of like, oh, like I want to be me, but if I'm gonna be me in a public setting, then like oh, you're gonna offend someone and all this shit. It's like there is a profound truth to the whole thing of like truth isn't something that you give to everyone. Truth isn't something that like it's not like a health potion. Like you're a healer mage in an RPG and like, there's loads of people who are sick and dying and like damaged from something and you're just going around giving out health potions to everybody. Like it's not just good. Like truth and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it like this, right? Because like if you see truth the same way that you see technology, right? So the truth of the matter is that you can create guns. Okay? You create guns because the truth of the matter is you can create guns because we live in truth and truth equals logic and all of these things. Right, now you've created guns. Well, the truth is about guns is that now you've made wicked people more powerful, not just good people. So like because think about it. It was more difficult for a wicked person to like stab someone or like physically fuck someone up. It was more difficult in the past to inflict your will upon someone because you had to do it in an analog sense with like a sword or a dagger or like or just your physical prowess, right? Or no, or numbers, or trickery or some shit like that. Like, but the second the gun was invented, it's just point, shoot, and you might kill the guy, But like, I'll probably a lot kill the guy. He may not die now, but he'd probably die in a few days from blood loss and infections, depending on like whatever. Like, and now it's so easy to kill another person that you don't even need to be there. You can just have an iPad and fly a drone, and boom, you could kill 10 people, right? So like. That's the truth. Like when the truth is spoken, when the truth is shown, it's not just good because wicked people get a hold of the truth and use it against good people. So like it's kind of like this constantly like unfolding Pandora's box of like this like fractal unfurling flower, this fractal blossoming flower of truth of like every time truth comes out, it's 360 degrees. It's spectral. It's like it doesn't just make things better, which is like that's something that I didn't think about a lot. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially the past 10 years, because of the way everything was. It was like, no, the truth needs to be spoken. The truth needs to be shown. The truth needs to be let loose and stuff like that. And like, yeah, to a degree. But then just like everything else, there comes a point, like too much, just like anything else, too much truth is a bad thing. Too much of anything is a bad thing. That's why it's called too much. It's intrinsic, which is fascinating. It's fascinating because like you would think that it's like, no, the truth is good and you can't have too much of a good thing. Well, it's like, well, water's good for you, but like, and it's good for plants as well, but too much water and everything's dead. So like, it really is like you can see why for thousands of years, like the argumentation and the debate and the, seemingly whimsical and nonsensical to a degree back and forth fucking tennis match of ideas. Which is why I respect the Jews. Like I respect Jews for their overwhelming capacity for argumentation and truth seeking and like all this shit. Like it's very easy to see why there could have been a time in our history where that tribe was the best, you know, because of their ability to do that, of their ability to sit back and be like, okay, what's the truth then? Is this the truth? Well, what about this then? And blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a high level of like mental acuity and, you know, like ability to, like the imagination, the imagination it takes to conceive of these things in an abstract format and talk about them, and then bring them into some kind of like material manifestation of like, you know, well, why this and why that, and like, well, because of this, and we should do that, and like the whole concept of should and ought, what ought we do, you know, what ought to be done, what should be done, and all these things for all these reasons. Like, it's fascinating. It really is fascinating because like that is what rules us. What rules us is our consciousness and our ability to be like, well, I should do this, I want to do that, but I should do this. And like the difference between like, well, you need to drink and eat and sleep and, you know, be productive and healthy and go outside and get fresh air. There's things that like you need to do, but then there's things that you desire to do, and like how those things meet and all this shit, like all the stuff that my daddy never taught me. Like, that's it. In a nutshell, it's like that's what it is. It's like the whole realm is experiencing what I've experienced in my personal life is like having no tether to truth or a role model at a very important milestone in your life, like from the age of like 12, 14, 16-ish, you know, like the earlier half of your teenage years where you're still literally growing and developing, never just not to mention just like mentally and spiritually or whatever. Like, you know, they say that your frontal lobe doesn't finish growing till you're like 25 and all this shit. Like, and every parent knows that like raising a child doesn't stop at 18. You know, most of the stuff and the responsibilities stops at 18, but like being a parent never stops if you're a good parent. You know, good parents will say things like, oh, you'll always be my boy. You know, you'll always be my little girl. Stuff like that, where it's like, sure, they don't mean it literally, but what they mean is that like, you will always be my child and I will always love you as my child and stuff like that. Like, now, obviously, just like everything else, there's, you know, if your child is like wantonly murdering people and taking their faces as trophies, you might want to revisit that. But like, typically, a parent's love should be ubiquitous and everlasting. But loads of people that are alive right now have experienced what I've experienced, like the whole broken home thing, fucked up parents that are kind of boomer-ish, you know, like they were kind of a bit wanton with their resources and life in general. And now in my 30s, I'm still dealing with like a lot of psychological, spiritual, and physical hang-ups from my early years, you know. So if you just take like, and I'm just one person, you know, and I've affected the lives of like at least 30 people in my like, say like past like 20 years. Like I've positively affected at least like 30 people that I can count, that I can think of, people who have like really valued me as a person being in their life. So I can only imagine the negative effects I've had. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's not that bad. I'll probably find out when I'm dead. You know, like the whole weighing the heart thing. But that's just me. There's supposedly, allegedly, billions of us. So imagine the knock-on effect of millions of me, where like I'm 30 years of age and I'm still trying to figure out life, and I have all of these like, you know, questions and like these like I've said before, like the amount of ways in which I have like arrested development, like in some ways I'm way ahead of people who are my age, and then in other ways I'm way behind. You know, like typically, stereotypically, like people have looked at me and be like, "You don't own a car. What? Who even like? Are you even human?" Like, do you know what I mean? Like people have literally turned around to me and been like, you know, well, I don't think you can talk about things. I don't think you can talk about being an adult when you don't have a job or a car, which to me is one of the most retarded arguments you could possibly have. You know, like, because then you're equating being an adult human being with having a job and a car, which kind of shows you most people's mentality. Like, you know, this purely materialistic mindset of if I have this material thing and this material thing, then I am X. Like, you know, it's like really like animalistic levels of retarded, in my opinion. But I get where they're coming from. I get where they're coming from, you know, because I can see from their point of view, because it's very simple point of view, because they're retarded. But there is a point. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you don't have a purpose, and if you don't have like certain, the car is more of the like retarded side of things, in my opinion. You know, because that's like the amount of people who have kids and a job and don't own a car because they use public transport or they walk to work. And not to mention the fact that if you wanted to look at it in an intelligent, adult, mature, whatever way you want to fucking phrase it, owning a car these days is incredibly financially burdensome. You know, like it's just all these things, like, you know. But like that's the reality. Is like the reality is like people will look at me like I'm a fucking whimsical retard, and I'm like irresponsible and selfish and all these things. And I would look at those people and just see them as retarded, you know, because they're not seeing what I'm seeing. And then we get back to the whole perception thing and so on and so forth. Like, now the difference is that I've actually spent a lot of time in my life trying to see things from other people's point of view, because that has actually allowed me to get over a lot of my anger and my desire to just fucking kill everyone that I find irksome. Which means that I am, like, in a sense, from my point of view, I would argue that makes me more adult, more mature, and more human than other people who just see things from their perspective and then admonish people who don't see things from their perspective. Like, I have the ability to see things from a monster's point of view. So that's like a huge spectrum, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I could see it from the point of view of like the psychopathic elite who just sees people as like cattle, like, do you know what I mean? I think I said that recently enough. Where like I remember there was like a hypothetical argument with my friends one time talking about how you'd get away with murder, and I was like, well, you'd have to kill the kids too, you know, because witnesses, like, and everyone was like, oh, how could you say such a thing? And I'm like, we're talking about getting away with murder. like, are you people fucking retarded? Like, but anyway, I've like gone on so many ramblings. You'd see TikTok influencers on the moon all the time if we actually went to the moon. Yeah, man, there'd be fucking trips to the moon. There'd be a McDonald's. There would at least be a McDonald's on the moon, and there'd be people talking about eating McDonald's in zero gravity is an experience that you just have to have once in your lifetime and all this shit. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense, you know. But anyway, I was lucky to have the parents I had. Yeah, I can imagine your parents are pretty cool because you turned out like a pretty awesome human being, you know. Um, but that's not a rule because like, well, it's not that my parents weren't like or aren't terrible, but they're also not great. Like my mother is a very loving mother, um, but she's quite childlike and stupid and ignorant to a lot of stuff. But that doesn't make her a bad person, you know. Um, that doesn't make her a bad person at all. Um, my father, though, my father, like, there's certain things about my father that I would argue make him like a bad guy, but not wicked, you know. He's leaned a bit into his evil, like egotistical, selfish side, but I wouldn't describe him as wicked. Just very selfish and uh, narcissistic and psychopathic. Um, but like from what I heard, he had a pretty rough upbringing in a sense, you know. So like everybody has their reasons. Everybody has their sins of the father. Everybody has their demons. Everybody has their challenges. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I think that's what's so annoying about modern society is like everybody's like, are you this and are you that and do you support Palestine and like are you homophobic and all this stuff that is distracting from what actually matters. Do you know what I mean? It's like all of this stuff about like superficial opinions and shit like that. Like it's like what does it matter if I think gays are disgusting but sometimes funny? Because that's genuinely my opinion on gays. Is like I find them creepy and disgusting, but they can be hilarious. You know, I don't think gay couples should be allowed to adopt children. I don't think they should be allowed to get married because that's like making a mockery of what marriage is supposed to be. You know, they should be allowed to get a civil union legal thing, you know, a piece of paper that says like they are now in a long-term relationship or something. But that's like, you know, because then they could still get the advantage. Like that's why they get married, isn't it? It's like, you know, all the tax shit and fucking typically why they get married. Like, you know, like the whole immigration and foreigners thing. Like, what my opinion is that like you should have any country that like is like if you want countries and nations to still be a thing, then countries and nations intrinsically have to have borders. And if like, you know, like all of that's just utter nonsense to me. The whole like there's someone that I've interacted with a lot lately who says that like, oh, immigration is the most natural thing. No, it's not, you fucking retard. Like it's like that's so stupid. Like, you know, oh, immigration's totally natural. No. What you're thinking is conquering. Because that's what's happened throughout history. And in a sense that's natural, but like a load of people leaving where they are and like going to another place with other people there, like, do you know what I mean? Like that's not immigration. Like, do you know what I mean? Like all of the stuff that like somebody who's like, oh, immigration's a really natural thing throughout human history. No, it's completely controlled by the will of human beings. It's not naturally occurring at all. It's like slavery and conquest. That's what caused people to be moved around great distances, you know. And then you get like some religious shit like pilgrimages and stuff like that, like, you know. But the idea of huge numbers of a certain nation just moving to another nation and setting up shop, not even integrating. Do you know what I mean? Like the state of England right now is crazy. The way it basically looks, like England looks, smells, behaves, and has the names of India and Pakistan, not England. Like, do you know what I mean? It's fucking like, it's sad, man. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, yeah, maybe the same thing will happen to Ireland. I doubt it, though. I mean, you're already starting to get pushback. We're way more violent like the Irish get to a stage where we don't give a fuck. We'll just kill you. like, like we'll just kill you, like, not be idiot. Like, we get to a point where we're like, oh, so you don't want to talk, you don't want to argue, you don't want to negotiate anymore. Oh, okay, and we'll just kill you. Which I love about us. You know, like, man, I'm 42 and it never stops. Still figuring things out. Yeah, you and I know that to be the reality. You know, I'm gonna be fucking 140, still painting, still wondering if I got things right. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's the mindset of people like us, where it's like, I know. The only thing that I know is that I don't actually know. And that's why it's called faith. That's why it's called belief. Is because you don't actually know. The only thing you can really know is the stuff that's here. Like, I know this is paper. You know, I know that's paint. I know this is a fucking vanity fucking table or whatever the fuck it, like, you know, this is meant for like women and their makeup and shit. Like, like, those are things I know. I know that's a laptop. I know that's a phone. I know I'm a ginger. Like, and I like, those are things you know, and you only know those things because we all agreed to call them these things and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that's another fascinating thing to consider. It's like, what is the true name of things? Because fucking nobody knows that shit. Like I'm sure there's somebody somewhere who's like really big into the esoteric, you know, shit. Maybe they work in the fucking Vatican archives or something. Maybe they've come across some things that would like tell you like the true name of the wind, the true name of fire, the true name of grass, the true name of dirt or earth or whatever, like the true name of God, the true, like, and that, like, that on that level I would assume, never mind think, I would assume that words are very powerful, you know, like if you were able to actually pronounce correctly the word of like something, like I wouldn't be surprised if some shit happens. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you could go like yeah or some shit and a flower just bursts out of your hand or some shit. Like, it wouldn't surprise me, because that would make a lot of sense why they would fucking hide all that shit and make us speak different languages, because you can't have people just going flowers, cliffs, water, you know, like, so if you had everybody creating shit, it'd just be utter chaos. Like, could you imagine 8 billion little gods? Like, we've spoken about that before. Like, in that sense, if that was the truth, then it makes total sense why you have a group of people who decided that people needed to be controlled, you know? Because like that would just be utter chaos. Like, long live the fighting Irish. Yeah, like, I don't think we're going anywhere. If the English Empire couldn't get rid of us and like assimilate us completely, like the English Empire assimilated the Indians way more than it did us, I would argue. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would argue that the English Empire, the British Empire, assimilated most of us to the same degree. But I don't think so. I think there's a lot of reasons, a lot of ways you could argue that the Irish, in particular, are still very much their own people and their own culture, despite everything that's happened. And I don't think a lot of foreigners showing up now is going to change that, you know, because the way they used to show, like, the British showed up and like killed us, raped us, made our language illegal, and it still didn't work. You know, it worked for like what, 400 years or some shit like that. Like, but the whole time that it was in quotes working. They were just constantly dealing with rebellions. They were constantly dealing with like small, like, the people, like, you can't force people to do shit, like, if you're going to force people to do stuff, you have to be willing to kill them. And that's some fucked up shit, like, so like that's how the hive works. That's how the swarm works, for the greater good, equality, all this shit. It's like all of you are expendable for the greater good. That's the only way that shit works, is like if you turn around to everyone from birth and you're like, you're all expendable because the most important thing is the mother and all this fucking shit, like the hive, because that's essentially what it is. It's like they, the WEF and like most of the international governments and stuff are essentially in agreement, at least publicly facing, that their god is the planet. Their god is Mother Earth. Their god is Earth. Because like they're telling you that you have to abide by all these rules because what you're doing is killing the Earth. The whole climate change thing, like that's what that is. Like that is the climate change group, the climate change people are just another cult, because their god is this place. This place is their god. And they've convinced so many people that it's like, all these things you do, you're killing our god. We need to save our god from you, you evil, like dirty parasite. Like Joe Rogan with his like, oh, I see people as like mold on a sandwich. We're like mold on a sandwich. We're like eating the sandwich and stuff like that. But by that logic, that means every animal in the animal kingdom is mold on a sandwich, which makes no sense, because cows make more fucking compost, which grass grows from. Birds and bees spread the seed that make more flowers. Like, it's like the logical conclusion is that human beings were either born from the earth randomly, like everything else, with an intrinsic instinctive purpose, or we were literally made by design by something else, just like everything else, with some kind of intrinsic purpose and design and so on and so forth. Like that's perceivably like fairly obvious, everything from the design of your fingerprint to the way your hair grows on your head to the fucking 32 vertebrae in your spine to all this fucking shit and the geometry and all this crap tells you, if you're just honest about it and you're paying attention, that there are rules to this place, that this place is like a biological fucking sophisticated machine of some sorts, and that everything has a purpose, everything has a place, everything is by design. And these freaks fucking hate that. These freaks like can't handle that, or they hate it. It makes more sense that they just hate it. They just don't want it to be the reality. Like, like, oh no, I want to be God. I want to be in control. Like, really? You really want to be God? You really want to be in control? Like, imagine what that'd be like for a minute. Like, do you know what I mean? Fuck no. I love being me. I love being human. And I love how this place works naturally. I fucking hate what other human beings have done to this place. And us. Each other. It's fucking disgusting. And like, I suppose collectively we should have a bit of shame about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to shame a lot of people for shit they haven't done. But on the one side, it's the stuff that people haven't done, and then it's the stuff that other people have done. Like, I hold the people who take the ticket, the people who keep their mouth shut because they don't want to get in trouble. I think they're just as fucked up and wicked in a cowardice sense as the people who are like, gaming the system and creating Ponzi schemes and like, like guys like Bill Gates who like lie and poison people and all. Like, they're just as bad as each other because one allows the other to propagate. The whole fucking all it takes for evil to propagate or all it takes is for evil to exist or evil to fucking be done or whatever is for good men to do nothing, you know. Fuck me. Lots of ranting today. This was all just a ploy to allow the dragon's head to dry. That's some pretty weak god if people can kill it by breathing and using plastic straws. Yeah, like, you know. I mean, that's what's like. You see the memes flying around the past week or so, where it's like, it shows a picture of like, you know, the COVID masks or plastic bottles or something or some shit. It's like, you need to reduce your carbon footprint and climate change and all, like, and the same people that are saying that are like unleashing a fucking hellstorm of missiles into a desert. Like how many plants, how much energy, how much metal, how many holes did you need to dig to get all the metal and all the fucking sand and all the gunpowder and all this fucking shit to make all your weapons of war so you can, like, you know, philosophically and morally justify killing a bunch of innocent fucking people, like, do you know what I mean? Like, meanwhile, you're using too much hot water. We're gonna make it nigh on financially impossible to stay warm in the winter, for you, but for us, we're gonna eat kids. We're gonna, you know, fuck kids. We're gonna wage meaningless, wasteful wars, which aren't really war, because war implies that, like, there's two sides fighting for reasons or whatever. It's not really war. At this stage, it's just fucking mass ritual sacrifice to some kind of fucking entity. You know, like the level of demonic, like the biblical level of hypocrisy from these wicked lizard fucks, like, you know what I mean, is fucking crazy. Like, it is. Like, they're the one group of people, like, not the Jews, people like Donald Trump, people like Jeffrey Epstein, people like Bill Gates, people like the people, like, at least the ones we see, you know, like, I'd love to get a hold of the fuckers behind those people, you know, the people behind George Soros, the people behind Donald Trump, the people who really enact things, the people who really say things and bring these things into being and make them happen. Those are the people that I wouldn't even want to, like, torture them and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I agree with Owen. I think if you're going to dole out justice, it should be, like, just calculated and mechanical. You know, very similar to a guillotine type job, where it's like, you know, there's no need for the whole macabre, you know, display of pain and suffering and all. It's like, no, just, like, I've always really liked that saying of, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill them all and let God sort them out. You know, like, I agree with that. Like, when it comes to those types of people who, like, you, like, think about it. That's how I know I'm a good guy, because you would literally have to behave in an inhuman manner for me to want to, like, kill you. And even then, I wouldn't, like, don't get me wrong, I'd take a bit of pleasure in it, like, you know, but I'd still just, like, cut your head off. I'd take the same amount of pleasure in it, in the same that I would in getting a nice straight line with the paintbrush. It would just be satisfying from a point of view of, like, that has been done and it was good, that kind of thing. Like cutting grass, you know, like, it would just be like waft, and it, like, there would be no, like, glee in it. It would just be like, like a deep satisfaction of, like, yes, that's what's supposed to happen, you know, like hitting a bullseye or something, like. But yeah, I've no desire to like kill the kind of people that like, these blue-haired, septum-pierced fucking freaks who uh value foreigners over their own kin. uh and will call you all sorts of names and tell you that you should be put in jail or killed or whatever, for saying the words nigger, kike, fucking. I mean, the list of no words is just huge right now. I've heard the term special needs is now offensive. I couldn't, like, I could, and I couldn't believe it when I heard it. Like, the term special needs is now on the list of offensive things that one should not say. Oh, he's got special needs. Like, fucking hell, like. It's gonna get to a point where people can't speak. Like, it's so retarded, like. Rantingu, yeah, this was indeed a rantingu. All right, those Iranian schoolgirls were asking for it. That's why we had to double tap the school. Now get vaxxed and stop driving. Yeah, yeah, like those Iranian schoolgirls were asking for it. They were homophobic. Take the jabs, shut up, and wear the mask. Just peanuts. Yeah, like if I was in charge, I'd put a massive tax on peanuts. It's like, even if I was king, right? Even if I was king of Ireland, right? The only place that there would be no peanuts would be like my personal sanctum. Like that's how little control I actually want over other people. Like, because like you think people like a lot of people when they get into power, they'd be like, I'd make this illegal, I'd make that illegal, I'd do this, I'd do that. If I was in charge, loads of stuff would change. But it would be stuff that people want. Like the people that live on the land. I'd be like, okay, well, everybody hated it when we made it illegal to burn the peat bog moss. All right, we'll get rid of that. People can do their own peat bog moss like they have been doing for fucking thousands of years. Get rid of that shit. Abortions illegal. There'd be loads of shit that would just be like, I just roll back loads of the stuff that's happened in the past like 20 odd years. Like I'd go back to the 90s. Like, I'd just be like, right, it's 1991 again as far as any of the laws are concerned. Just all this fluff we've picked up in the past 20 years, just knock it off. It wouldn't it'd be great. I would put turrets all over the island though. I swear to God, I would put outward facing coastal guns on every fucking inch of the perimeter of the island. And they would be beautiful, and they would be made with they would be mechanically I'd ask like the German top engineers to come over and help us build them. Not to build them for us. No. Just to help design them. That would be it. But I'd definitely do that. I'd get that's the stuff I would do with foreigners, Everything would be temporary. If you wanted to like the whole work visa thing, I don't have a problem with that, You want to come over here and pay to come here and to work here and to gain a skill or to share a skill or whatever like that for a certain amount of time and then return home. Nothing wrong with that. Everything to do with foreigners would be temporary. It would be like tourism, skill sharing, technology sharing, resource sharing, stuff like that. But other than that, there would be a rule of if you live here, you have to have some Irish blood in you, or there has to be some kind of like, you know, cultural assimilation integration going on. Basically, there has to be a situation where like nobody even notices that you're a foreigner really anymore. You know what I mean? Because like the most important thing is cohesion, trust, honor, loyalty, honesty. Like I would essentially create like not just a bill of rights. I would create a bill of virtues. Like what country has that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like a bill of rights. You know, like a right. Like even claiming the fact that you have a right to anything. It's like what? From God? Yeah. Good luck with that argumentation. Like, but I would create a bill of virtues that we all agree to like engage in. You know, it wouldn't be like our God says we have the right to this. Like, that's not a winning argument. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't call God down and be like, see, Daddy said so. Like, it's like, it doesn't work like that. Making a claim to God is actually like, don't get me wrong, I get why they did it. They're like, what's the term I'm looking for? They were, what's the word? Like calling to, referencing, they were adhering to the highest form of power or consciousness, like what's the fucking word I'm looking for? They were I can't think of it right now. Special needs is now offensive. They told us to use that instead of retarded. Yeah, I know. But that's what it is. Like, that's how this shit works. That's how the hedonic treadmill works, is like, because of their virtue signaling and their moralism in the way that they do it, it's never ending. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's going to come a point, because that's what one of the lads said as well. It's like, okay, so special needs is now offensive. Right, well, 10 years from now, whatever you invent to not be offensive instead of special needs, 10 years from now, that's going to be offensive. It's ridiculous. It's retarded. It's like, it's fundamentally fucking stupid. And that's what's so dangerous about it, is like you have a lot of people adhering to nonsense. Like your one in Creative Places, that's like, you know, the facilitator right now or whatever. Like, it's just like when she started saying that racism was invented by white colonists and all, I'm just like, oh Jesus Christ! Like, it's like, so racism was invented by white people, so therefore you can't be racist towards white people, which is inherently racist. You fucking retard! Like just think about it for 5 fucking seconds and like realize how fucking stupid that is. Like, it's like, you can't be racist towards white people. Isn't that racist? No, because white people invented racism. Well, if white people invented racism, doesn't that mean that they're kind of superior in a sense, that they invented something that other people didn't invent? They invented a concept that one could hate based on skin color. But that isn't the original meaning of it, is it? Because the original meaning of it was first coined by some general in the American wars or some shit like that with the Indians, and it was actually the polar fucking opposite of what it is now, where it's like, oh, if somebody was racist, it's because they wanted to remain Native American. They wanted, like, if somebody was like, I am Jaguar's Paw of Chingachgook land, you know, like, as far as the whites were being concerned at the time, they were being racist. And it wasn't even a white thing. It was a empirical thing. It was a propaganda thing. It was a rhetorical thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not even a fucking race thing. It's a power play, for fuck's sake. Like, oh, it's so like, it's so fucking stupid. And that's why it gets to people like us. Like, that's why so many people around the realm right now are using terms like fatigue, and, you know, and like fatigue is huge right now. Fatigue's been, like, the past year or two, the word fatigue is really, really common in the zeitgeist. And it makes so much sense, because it's fucking exhausting not being able to communicate with a whole section of society because, and Sargon pointed this out, actually. I think it was Sargon that pointed this out. Or was it? Was it Sargon that pointed this out? I can't remember. Because it's like, people like us are willing to argue. People like us are crippled, gimpy. Fucking people like us are willing to argue. People like us are willing to negotiate. People like us are willing to have a back and forth about all sorts of concepts, metaphysical shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, no matter what avenue you come from, like one of the people on this stream could be a Satanist, and you guys wouldn't have a problem with them being, yeah, I'm a Satanist, and here's why. You guys, like me included, be like, yeah, I get it. You know, like I've never read the Satanic Bible, but like I can imagine, like I've heard, like the idea, like, because it's across all groups. You know, just because somebody's a Satanist doesn't mean they're evil. I'm sure there's loads of people out there that are fucking straight up Satanists, and they're really cool human beings. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it doesn't matter what group you're in. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what fucking, like, what matters is, are you a cunt? Are you a stupid fucking cunt? That's what matters. Like, do you know what I mean? And nobody, if they're honest with themselves, nobody wants to be a stupid fucking cunt. Like, you know, the only people that want to be a stupid fucking cunt are people that want to appear like a stupid fucking cunt so that they can take advantage of other people who think that they're a stupid fucking cunt. You know, the whole, like, you know, appear weak, appear retarded, appear, you know, like appear like prey and stuff like that, but on the back, like in the shadows, you know, you're actually very dangerous and you're malevolent and trickery and all this fucking shit. Like, oh, it's fucking, I hate them. I fucking hate. I'm trying not to. I know, like, I'm getting better at it. Like, I've always been very aggressive. I've always been very angry. I am a redhead, you know, cut me some slack. But it's those, I fucking, the people that can't have a conversation because they will get triggered, or they will be offended by something, or they will be so taken aback by some of your words that they think you should be arrested or any of these fucking things. I'd fucking love to just smash the orbital socket of so many of them. Like, do you know, like, just grab them by the scruff of the fucking neck and just like, whoom! Like, I want to hit them so hard right in the jaw that their jaw enters their orbital bone. Like, you know, just an sweet chin music that's so devastating it looks like an X-ray from Mortal Kombat. Like, just like, whoom! Like, I fucking hate them, like, because I'm like, it's like, you know, the world is an extension of my garden, and they're like fucking wrecking the garden. Like, you know what I mean? They've destroyed everything. They destroyed Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Warhammer, fucking some of my favorite TV shows. Like, all of it's lame and gay now. And for what? For what? So you can have all these fucking confused kids walking around with no dick or tits anymore who are like, oh, what do I do now? Like, oh, it's so, like, it's just sick. You know what I mean? Like, your speech has been flagged as inappropriate and offensive. You know, by who? The same people who made those rules are the same people who have convinced you that it's a wholesome thing to tell your fucking child that they can be the opposite sex if they really believe in it. Like, oh, fucking hell. Like, it's so taxing to the nervous system and the mind to put up with these people, to have to like be water around the rock, and to work around these people, and to work with these people and through these people who are just fuckheads, like these maniacal level fuckheads who have no place in society. Like, tax these nuts. They'll become like bees, where all they do is dance to convey a message until someone dances differently, and they send them to the gulag. That's hilarious. Oh, Denmark, Baru. Welcome. Appeal to authority. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Appealing to an authority. That's the term I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah. The founding fathers of America, that's what they did. They appealed to the highest authority that they knew of, which makes sense, you know. But at the same time, like, looking back, like, retrospect is 2020, but it's like, you can see why that doesn't work, you know, because like appealing to God might work for the people appealing to God, but it's not going to work for other people. Or like, show me your God then. Show me this God that gives you this authority, you know. That's that just makes too much sense, you know. Like in this place, it makes too much sense to turn around, like, you know, show me God. Show me your God that grants you these rights and this authority. Oh, you can't? Okay, well, fuck you. I'm better at fighting than you are, so you lose. You know? What can you call disabled people? I don't know. I haven't heard the new term. I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. The history books have been changed. That aggravates me. Yeah, I know. Like, fucking... It's not only really aggravating, but it's like tragic, you know. That's the effect they want. Seems to be working. Yeah, I know. Like I don't know if you've been chiming in these past few months. It's good to see you, but I'd say like ballpark the past 6 months I've been like really struggling, like spiritually, because I'm working with the public now. I'm like a part of like a community gig thing now, and I've had to, like, you know, I've had to brush elbows and shoulders with some of these woke retards, and you know, to put it simply, and it's fucking diabolical. It's sickening. I am getting to a stage where I just find it funny. I think that's great, you know. I just, like, I'm getting to a stage where I just, like, you know, I pity them. But then at the same time, I don't want to pity them. Like, I don't, like... I think the best place to be in mentally is where I just find it funny, you know? And I'm getting there. But I do have a lot of, like... I fucking hate them. I really do. I can't lie to myself, let alone you guys. But I fucking hate them and I want them all gone. But that's like immature of me, like, you know, in a spiritual sense. I have to like assimilate them into my worldview. They have a place. Like, you know, I just need to remind myself that, like, you wouldn't know what good is if you didn't have dark. You know, like, so these people are a glaring, unavoidable, to a degree, example of what not to be. Oh, don't congratulate me yet, because I haven't been paid a fucking dime for any of the shit that I've done. It's all been volunteer and like community shit and like just like going to free workshops and stuff. But there is it seems like I'm going in a direction where I might get paid to do something public. On the regular, at least with one of the groups I'm a part of now, anyway. But thank you. Yeah, it's like there's some cool stuff on the horizon. You know, like I'm trying to get into a mind space where I have enough like mental energy to sit down at least like a few hours or even just half an hour a day and work towards, like, I need to consolidate a lot of my work or make new work to get into a gallery and do an exhibition. I'm doing community stuff. and then I've got the stream, and then I've got my personal creations that like I've been like kind of putting on the back burner for a while. Like, you know, there's like the book of Painting Goo, which I suppose is like, you know, in tandem with the stream, obviously. But then there's other stuff like you know, the little blue guy with the horns and the halo that I designed ages ago. I've got like a little narrative idea about him, like short stories or short animations that I could do. Or even stills with just spoken word or something, like, you know, I could make it like a fucking children's book or something. I don't fucking know. So like there's like loads of plates spinning, you know. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. And the streams, like the streams have been great. I know I've been a bit moody the past couple of months, but I think that's been offset by like the fucking how like the tunes have been great. The fact that you guys are creating with me in that sense, that Printer Bear and Stabru Sama have been making, like, you know, I've been making AI tunes to go with the paintings that I'm making. Like, yeah, like it has to be an incredibly niche thing on this, like, that we're doing, because like I don't see anybody else doing that. You know, no sketch, no preparation, no nothing, just like sitting down live in front of fucking YouTube and you guys doing a fucking painting and then you guys making a fucking AI song about it. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. So like I've got a lot going for me right now, but it's just like fuck all if any of it is like financially beneficial. But it's slowly getting there. I think 2 years ago I said, oh, probably another year and I'll like start making a good bit of money. And I think I was only off by like a year. But yeah, there's like a lot of cogs turning, a lot of plates spinning, which is good. But because of the community stuff, the past like what 9 months ish, that like I've kind of faced this, like, you know, oh fuck, like if I want to, because I want to provide a service in that sense, and people want me to, people like what I do, and they want more of it, and I want to give it to them. But if I'm going to give it to them in that environment, then there's all of these fucking hoops that I have to jump through and all this fucking shit, like, now, thankfully, I don't think I'm going to have to jump through the same kind of hoops with the other group that I'm a part of, where like we got keys to the pub there the other day, and like, you know, we've got our own space now and stuff, which is all great. So we'll see what happens. That's all I can do is just see how it pans out and just be grateful, you know, for whatever happens, and act accordingly, you know. So okay, my fried chicken is done. Time to dig in. All the best, Defender. It's great seeing you, Denmark Bear. Great seeing you. Hope you're well. Right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave it there. I might like be gone for like fucking 3 hours now or some shit. Yeah, sitting here rambling. I always think it's funny though, because like I'll go on one of these massive rants, and there'll be like 6-7 people still sitting here talking and listening and shit, like. Whereas like there's times where I have the music going and I'm like into the painting and there's like 3 people watching. No, I've noticed that over the years of doing Painting Goo, that there's people that like love just listening to me shit talk. Like, I know Emmanuel's like that. Emmanuel's just like, just start shiting on about something. But then there's people that love the tunes, and then there's people that love the paintings, and then there's people that love all 3, you know, like. So I'm always going to try and keep Painting Goo Painting Goo. I'm always going to try and keep it what it is, you know. Sometimes I'll rant, sometimes I'll paint and rant, sometimes I'll play music and not say anything for hours and just paint and shit. But that's kind of what it's always been, so I'll always keep it like that. Because I don't want Painting Goo to become something that it isn't, you know. Because I don't want to become something that I'm not. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. yeah, but like I'm not even gonna bother playing the tune because fucking everybody's paying attention and I've said goodbye and people are already saying goodbye. So you can't go for hours without saying anything. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I'm a chatty catty, always have been. But it's also true that if you go hours and hours and hours without saying anything or talking, I don't think that's a healthy thing. Like obviously to a point, like do you know what I mean? Like you could go hours and hours and hours and hours not talking to anybody, and it's a good thing because you're locked in and you're doing some work. But that means that after that you should speak to people. You need human interaction. You need a meeting of minds and stuff like that and all that. It's a very human thing. And anyway, be good, be true, and be beautiful. And I will be back tomorrow. It'll probably be 4 p.m. tomorrow because I don't think I have anything on tomorrow. The sheep looks prime. I know, I love him. I think he's deadly looking. Like, I'm gonna put a bit of detail on the helmet and I'll make the shield look a bit better, and obviously I'll finish the sword. But yeah, this one's going well. Like fuck it. Like I didn't know how long it would be until I go back to the old format of the map and the 3 things pulled out of the hat and stuff. But like this has been going really well. Just me on a whim deciding like fuck it, I'm just gonna do this, and then you guys making songs about it and all. Like it's been going really well. But anyway, I can feel myself starting to get a bit hoarse because I've been doing so much talking now. So yeah, be good, be true, and be beautiful, and I'll see you soon. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Much love. Bye bye. All that jazz.